Okay, y'all. This is Yes, I'm Alicia, the marketer. Make sure that you follow me on Instagram. Thank you for tuning in. Let's talk about this show. I watched this movie last night. It was called Eagle's Eye. Eagle Eye starred Shia LaBeouf and this lady by the name of Michelle Monaghan. Now, do forgive me if I mispronounce her last name, but it's Monaghhan. She plays a woman by the name of Rachel Holliman again, and Shia LaBeouf is playing a guy by the name of Jerry Shaw. Movie comes on. Jerry Shaw / Shia LaBeouf, he works in what is called the Copy Cabana. So, this is like your print plus, your supply store, your staples, a place where you can go get copies, use the computer, things of that sort. Three of his friends, mild job. In the back, they play poker for small amounts of money. Cute enough. He has an African-American friend, a little heavy set. He has another white or Caucasian friend, and he's kind of heavy set, and they play this poor version of poker in the back, and he gyps all of them for money, and it's funny. And you're like, why are they penny-ante playing this poker game? After you see him work at Copy Cabana, we move forward, and he's approaching his apartment building. And he goes within, he's walking down the hallway. Sweet old lady is in the hallways waiting as he passes by. And of course, what is she asking for? The infamous thing, rent. She's badgering him about rent. He goes and he gives her the few dollars that he's won from the poker game. And she's like, what is this? Quarters? And she said, dollar. So basically this wad of money that he's giving her is filled up of basically just dollars. And she mentions it, and he's like, no. See, look at this. There's a 5, and he has this ugly, wadded up $1 bill that he adds to the wad of money that he gives her. But fast forward, he goes to his room, his apartment rather, and I believe he gets a phone call and finds out that I thought it was his father, but as the story shows, it's his brother that passes away. So he attends the funeral. He meets with the family. And as he attends the funeral, he walks down the church aisle and he approaches the casket at the front of the church. And he puts a paper plane in his brother's casket and he sheds a couple heartfelt tears right there in front of the church, in front of the casket. Very emotional moment. So as the movie's going, you're like, okay, it's pretty okay, what's going on here. Fast forward a little further, him and his father are in the corridor where it looks where they, maybe like an office, a library / office where awards, trophies, and different accolades are posted on the wall and on the bookshelf. And Jerry Shaw / Shia LaBeouf is just staring at the wall, staring at these accolades on the wall. And I'm assuming that it's either his brother's, or a combination of the two. And whilst he's staring, he begins to admire the wall as well. And he proceeds to ask the current son, what are you going to do with your life in a sense? He said that I have some connections to Stanford. I can get you back into Stanford, as if Jerry Shaw or Shia LaBeouf has did something to be kicked out of Stanford. They did not go into detail about that, but that's how that was laid. And Shia LaBeouf kind of speaks up in this, again, heartfelt, deep emotional ways, like, you want to discuss that now? He repeats it again. You want to discuss that now? And on the third go round, you want to discuss that now? And so he's just meaning like, find time and place to speak about my downfalls, when I'm here to witness my brother's, for the burial of my brother, whether. Scene switches. Well, for this, before the scene switches, let's talk about the latter bit of this scene. Out of nowhere, the father offers the son money. And he's like, I don't want your money. As if, there's a broken relationship between father and son that is more money-based than emotional and connective, if I must say it in that way. But anywho, he offers him money. He replies, I don't want your money. Darts out the door. Scene switches. He's on the bus. And he goes to some type of public transit. Looks over in his book bag. Wadded up. Because the check goes out the mail. So he goes to the bank to deposit this check. And when he goes to the bank to deposit this check, he's sitting in a nice little line, cold outside, boop, 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 boop. It's like on the side of a building or the bank itself. I don't know, because they never go inside. They're standing outside. And actually, there's two ATM, one line up here, one line up here. Boom. Now it's his turn to get to the ATM, and he proceeds to deposit the check into the account. Puts the check in, and voila, here's the balance. Instead of the measly $1,000 that he just got from his father that is already controversial, for the lack of better words, because again, he didn't want it. The balance says $751,000 is the balance. And as he begins to, I don't know what happens, money just starts to spit out of the machine. And I mean, he's putting his debit card in his mouth to hold his hands up to the machine to cuddle as many dollars and 20s as he could. People behind us like, hey, money's coming, trying to help him, to the point where he just leaves them with the money. And again, as this happens, it's shocking to him. I'm sure he doesn't want to be a target. So after he grabs what he can, he gives the people behind him a few dollars, like, here, I can't tote that much. And he leaves. Scene switches. He's back in his apartment, walking down that same aisle. And he comes to the corner with the sweet old lady that must obviously own the building. That's what the guy what? Apparently. But before she could even mention the real money, she was constantly and when I say constantly, she has an accent as if she's of a different race, but she doesn't look it so much, but she definitely wears the accent very much. She's like, Jerry, boxes, 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 lots amounts of boxes, and so many I don't know what to do with. I put them in your room. I put them in your apartment. He's like, what? He's like, what do you mean, boxes? And he opens up his door and he sees a plethora of boxes that she mentioned before. And yes, I said plethora of boxes because she warned him. I mean, it was exactly what she said. What's in these boxes, not sure, but they're sitting in the doorway. He turns around and very wide of this good money that he just got from the ATM, taking out the measly dollars and wide $5 bills and quarters and pennies and nickels that he gave her the first time around. He gave her good money, and she's quite shocked as he probably was getting it out of the machine. She's like, oh, rent money. And she takes the wallet. He closes the door, boom, on the other side of the door in the apartment. Again, like the spirit stuff, weird things are here. Ammonia is listed on some of the bags. There are boxes that are actual boxes. Cardboard can't see the inside. There's actual black containers. And he's like, what is this? He opens one container up. It's like almost seemingly like a gun case. But when he opens it up, it's a scope. He picks the scope up. He twirls it around, looks at it from top to bottom again. Highly confused of what he has found. He pushes out his knife and begins to closely open as many boxes as he can to figure out, what is this? He's going to find all kinds of things. Big guns, little guns. Let's just get right to it. It looks like this one is filled for a person who's a terrorist, who's ready to take out somebody. I mean, the bullets, the pin, the two that was quote unquote mailed to this room or apartment was unimaginable. You just have to see it. Now, talk about this. This is not a new movie. This movie came out in 2008. It is 2002. I've never seen it. Maybe I have. I just didn't remember it. I popped up on this movie on YouTube. I was bored. Had time, space, and opportunity. So I watched it. Let's keep talking. As he's crazily going through these boxes, out of nowhere, he gets a phone call. Lady on the phone call says, in 30 seconds, the FBI will show up at your door. Please go do XYZ. And out of pure shock, he cannot accept go do because he's like, what FBI? These boxes. Why are you calling me? She's like, you don't have very much time. I believe it was 30 seconds, but somewhere around there. She's like, you do not have enough time to question me. Do what I said. He did not. He stood there in shock. And of course, questioned the person that was on the phone call. But as he's doing so, bullets flying through his apartment, he's breaking and dodging, slapping into the window. He had a strong ropey rope with a black outfit, the black ops from head to toe. Boom, subdue him, take him into the FBI. He's a gunner. Gets into the FBI. He's like, look, yo, listen to me. I didn't do this. Like, this is not my stuff. This is not mine, basically. I'm being set up. I need help. And of course, the investigator was like, alright, and you didn't order this stuff? Has your name on it? It came to your apartment. Yeah. It's kind of hard to believe. This ain't you. I believe in this information that his brother has passed away. The FBI agent is just not believing anything he says. The FBI agent, the main one, goes downstairs, get coffee, something. He has a black female co-investigator that is, in this particular scenario, an agent for the Air Force, which I believe the gentleman's brother, who passed away, was in the Air Force. And what we soon find out within this is that he was a twin. I don't know if it's at this very moment that we're speaking of, but within the story, we find out he was a twin, which we didn't know. And the scene, of course, is that it was their father who was passing away. But, yes, he's not there, but he's putting emphasis on what he's brother. Not putting emphasis on it. It was a twin. But, they like it. The main investigator goes down, has a powwow with the lady Air Force representative, and as he does so, a fax comes in to the FBI office that says, let Shia LaBeouf, or in character Jerry Shaw, make his own phone call. Now, previously, they told you, you don't get a phone call. This is not regular arrest. You do not do what you want to do up in here. You don't get a lawyer. This is realistic. We have the right to come in with you the way we want to handle you. This is espionage. We don't play this. Yada, yada, yada. But nonetheless, investigator picks up the facts, realizes what it says, goes into the interrogation room, unhandcuffs him from the desk, walks into this private room, nothing but glass windows, and a phone, and him. Who reads the window, locks the door, lets him do his thing. He begins to use the telephone, he begins to dial out, and out of nowhere, the lady intercepts the same lady that says you have 30 seconds to get out of your apartment because the FBI is coming. Yeah. This thing gets crazy. He's like, of course, question again, who are you? What's happening? Why are you calling me? All this, yada, yada, yada. Why you intercepting my phone call? I'm sure he's about to call his daddy. Sure he's about to call his mom. Somebody like that, but she clearly intercepted the phone call. She's like, you didn't listen to me. Basically, like, I'm going to give you a second chance. Now, I want you to duck. And you got 30 seconds to duck, 15 seconds to duck, something like that. And he's like, what? Who are you? Still question, not listening. But outside this nice office that they have him using his phone, there's a crane outside. The crane looks as if it was doing construction on another building, but out of nowhere, the arm of the crane swings around, busts the window, boom, he's on the floor. If he did not duck the way that she told him to, which in inches, he would have been a goner. Okay, as this happens, of course, the FBI agents run upstairs like, boom, what's this little crash? What's happening? So they approach the door of the office where this crane has crashed into, and they can't get in. They're chasing after him. And she's like, look, you have a choice. Either you stay here or you follow the rabbit hole. He follows the rabbit hole, runs down the ladder of the crane, meets the actual street. Somehow or another, whoever this person who's contacting him is, she's able to tap into all digital things. And when I say all digital things, I mean like, let's say digital banners, digital signs, numerous things like that. And she's able to send messages. Long story short, he breaks into a car. And this lady's like, get out of my car. I can't deal with this. I got this thing to do. And they're arguing. They're not understanding each other. He's like, no, get out of the car. I have instructions. Get out of the car. And I'm like, no, nobody wants to get out of the car because what he doesn't know is she's been receiving the same messages about doing some of the same stuff. And she has kids that she has put on a bus to go to Washington. And this thing started to badger her about her kid and different things that it wanted her to do as well. Same woman, same voice. And then they resonate with each other like, what? And so they're like, drive, because the FBI is still chasing him. So it's like, go, take off. Long story short, these two, Rachel Holloman and Jerry Shaw, are being pretty much, for my lack of better words, sort of haunted or given instructions to do these different things throughout the town. Because this woman is telling them, quote unquote. Come to find out, it's not a woman. It is a machine that the FBI is secretly using. And it's like an artificial intelligent machine. It sort of reminds you of Jarvis off the Avengers. But again, this is 2008. If you know who Jarvis is. But yeah. So it's like a thinker, it's like a brain, and it helps them determine crime and so on and so forth. But clearly the thing has went rogue, as all technology that's being used, quote unquote, in movies for good tend to do. So it goes rogue and it begins to give adverse orders because there was a scenario where they had an opportunity to not bomb a Middle Eastern group of people that seemingly was at a funeral. I know this sounds crazy, guys, but good movie. Just follow me. The FBI, parts of this movie as it comes on, they are monitoring this meeting. This particular artificial intelligence tells them, hey, no, do not bomb. It's not an accurate chance that this is even a person. And it looks like these people are at a funeral. So please do not bomb. But the FBI did not listen. They manually overrided the answer and sent the bomb anyway. And ultimately was wrong. And it caused chaos and war. So this AI machine feels like the people who are in charge do not know how to make the best choices for the American people and others. So, inadvertently, while she's helping stop crime, she's also going to kill the top 11 people who were involved in this, including the president, the top person of the Secretary of Defense, so on and so forth. There's 11 people on this list that is directly involved. And she has a vendetta for him. She has it out for him, okay? And she's using these two to carry out the mission plan. There's a secret to why she's using Jerry Shaw, and it's linked to her brother. To his brother, but I won't spill the total beans. But to sum up this review, all in all, good movie. You're not going to believe what truly is happening and how it all plays out with this AI machine and Jerry Shaw and Rachel Holloman running through town, taking orders, not wanting to take orders, and all these different things. There's even a scenario where, they're carrying around this briefcase that they get from this armored truck group of guys. Of course, it was like a burning truck carrying money, but ultimately they run through the town. There's a ticker on the suitcase, and they feel as if it's a bomb. But they go through so many scenarios, thinking it's a bomb, taking orders, not wanting to take orders, only to find out it's not a bomb. When they get to the last bit of orders, they have to get on a plane, shoot themselves with this fluid that's inside the suitcase that lowers their heart rate so they can survive in the cargo area of a plane to get to their next destination. So the movie's wild. Very, very good movie. Crazy that I have not seen this movie. I graduated in 2007. So the fact that I have not seen this and it's this good and it stars Shia LaBeouf, is amazing. It's crazy. Thumbs up from me. Let's talk about it. The movie did $178 million in the box office. The music was by a gentleman by the name of Brian Taylor. The story was written by a gentleman by the name of Dan McDermott. And the director of this particular joint was DJ Caruso. Now, do forgive me if I mispronounce any of those names, but if you have not seen this movie, I highly suggest that you do so. Again, I was bored. I needed something to do. It popped up as a free movie. I'm like, yo, Shia LaBeouf, he ain't ever failed me in the past, Bumblebee and things, and hey, anything else, see it with the swinging from the chandelier and things. I ain't never been disappointed, despite of his shortcomings. So I decided to watch it, and hey, it's a thumbs up for me. I highly enjoyed the movie. It was different. It is a bit old, but if you have a chance, please go see that. IMDb gives it a 6.6 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 26%. Metacritic gave it a 43%. And of course, AS Unleash the Market gives it a thumbs up. Go watch the movie. Thank you for tuning in. Like, share, comment. And this was brought to you by MTP Studios.